Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Just noticed my eyes are a bit funny. Okay, I want to talk to you all about risk tolerance today because I was listening to a wee podcast the other day and it really struck me, it resonated with me deeply that this is one of the things that I need to continue to transform myself on, and not just in my life, but in my business, because my whole life I've probably been, even though from the external viewpoint looking in, where I traveled around the world, country to country, always on my own, job to job, which looked like very risky. I know that a lot of people used to say to me, how did I do that? And I was very brave and courageous and all of that, but I never took it that way. I thought it was quite not very risky, to be honest. But I know I'm very risk averse. Like if something, I won't put money on the stock market because I couldn't guarantee earning the money back. So that's the type of risk I'm talking about. And what this particular person was saying, which deeply resonated to me, I can't get my hair, was she was explaining that in order to be a really successful entrepreneur, so a business owner, I've never liked the word entrepreneur for myself because I know I'm not a visionary. I don't come up with all of the ideas. I'm an implementer. I get things done in that regard. But let's just roll with it. So, entrepreneurs and business owners, then one of the things that we have to get really good at is a high risk tolerance. And I thought to myself, why is she saying that? But the more she explained it, the more the pennies dropped. And what she was saying is that in order for us to build something we've never had before or become somebody we currently aren't, and let's face it, that is the journey, that is the transformation, that is the dream. We're building businesses for financial freedom, for time freedom, to be able to help people, to really make an impact in the world. Well, at least that's why I build my business. Then in order to do that, we're going to have to overcome ourselves. And to do that means getting much more tolerant at taking risk. So even in the simplest way, me showing up and recording this is risky because you guys might watch this and I might get some comments that say this is really shit. Why are you even here? Because unfortunately, that's the internet, right? Anybody can have an opinion. So, in order to do this, I have to overcome risk. I have to be willing to risk rejection, to risk hate, to risk negativity, to risk being seen, all of the things that are wound up in that. Because if I don't risk that, guess what happens? I stay the same. And I always sort of say to my clients, because it's based on what I do, I try to live in transformation and awareness and growth because it's just what we need to do as business leaders, is if I want my next 6 months to be completely different from the last 6 months, or not even completely different, just different, then what will change? Because something has to change. And we humans are not wired for change because of the risk element, right? We like to know ahead of time what the outcome is that we might be getting, or at least have a feeling that it's possible. And that's the bridge that I always think that we have to fight, because we sit here in our current state. So we're in A and we're thinking to ourselves, oh, I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not sure I'm good enough. Why would people listen to me? Why? And then to go all the way over here where I know I can help people. My clients always get results. I'm really good at what I do. This feels really good, right? And we go across to that bridge. Then in order to build that, we have to start doing things differently. So whether it's elevating our risk tolerance or overcoming our fear factor, because I think they're very closely interlinked. If you stop and you think about, well, why won't I risk spending money on, let's say, Facebook ads to get a bigger audience? And it comes back down to because you don't think people will connect with you or like you, or people will judge you, or you don't want to be seen, all of the things I just mentioned, then of course you're not going to spend money on Facebook ads. But if you don't spend money on Facebook ads, and Facebook ads is the audience build strategy you picked, then what happens then? You're not going to build an audience. And if you don't build an audience, how do you make an offer to somebody to work with you? And if you can't make an offer for somebody to work with you, how on earth do you get paid? And if your business isn't getting paid and you're not generating an income, you don't have a business. So do you see how this all wraps up back to growing your risk um, tolerance and actually risking things? Overcoming the fear factor. It's very interesting, isn't it? Because, on the one side of building this business, we have all of these tangible skills we must learn, develop, and grow. So we must learn to be very good marketers. We must learn to be very good salespeople. We must learn to be, well, I don't think we learn to be really good at what we actually help people with, because that's our core skill, right? That's what we bring to this big puzzle. But all of the things that surround it is where we're constantly growing and transforming. All this to say, she had me thinking about that, because it is interesting, isn't it? If I think back and I'll think about all the times I stopped myself and I stopped my growth. And at the end of the day, when we look back on things, in all honesty, it's never, ever the things that I did and failed at that hurt. It's always the things I didn't do. So which part do I want the pain of? Do I want the pain of I tried and I tried again and I got better, and I tried again and I got better, and I might not yet have it, but I'm on that learning transformational journey? Or I was too scared and I didn't do it anyway. Which one do you want to pick? Because it's always about picking. I wrote an email a while ago about which wolf are you feeding? Because that was an American Indian proverb, right? Which wolf do you feed? The good or the bad? It's the same thing with your business. Are you going to build your risk tolerance? Are you going to build your capacity to do work? Because that's another area that I find closely coupled, is that when we start to learn something and it's hard, we think about quitting before we even really understand what it is we're trying to do. It's a key fundamental usually that we have to master. The only way to master that is to do it, evaluate it, do it again, evaluate it, do it again, making sure that the evaluation is showing us what we need to change, what we need to improve, or what actually worked in the first place. Most times I'll say what worked first, because your brain will always tell you what didn't work. So yeah, that's what I thought I would share today, all about risk intolerance and how your ability to take more risk or to accept more discomfort into your life and business is going to usually create more growth. So the more you can tolerate, the more growth you're going to have. The less you tolerate, the less growth you're going to have. And as always, in building this business, I can bring you to the trough, to the water, you're my horse, and I can say, please drink the water. You get to decide to drink it. So what does that mean? You always get to decide to use it, because nothing grows if nothing changes. Make sure you're always doing something so that you're always going somewhere. And with that, that is today's little tidbit of information that I wanted to share. If you found it useful, please comment below. If you hated me and hated it, don't comment below. No, feel free to comment below. You were right to your opinion. All right. Take care, everybody, and I will catch you again. Bye, YouTube.